Alright, so I'm just taking a look at the 12Z NAM weather model here. We've got a slight chance of severe weather along the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border this afternoon into this evening. The only thing we're really dealing with today is a strong capping inversion, which could inhibit storm development. But if storms can break through that cap, we could see some rapid development and possibly some severe weather, especially in southeast Saskatchewan, southwest Manitoba. If we take a look at what I'm seeing right here on the models, looks like southeast Saskatchewan, we start to see some thunderstorm development around 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it quickly begins to build as it moves towards Manitoba and into southwest Manitoba. It's also predicting kind of when it hits that capping inversion, it may die off, so it's really tough to say if we're going to get anything severe today, but if we do, that's the area we're going to want to be in. If I take a switch over to look at Supercell Composite today, we can see it's not the strongest, but we do have a little bit of supercell composite, especially in southeast Saskatchewan and moving into southwest Manitoba into the evening hours. I'll see if I can pull a weather sounding for that area at that time. So what we're looking at here is basically the same thing that, the same kind of data that they would get if they threw a weather balloon up in that area. This is just a computer simulated model of that. We can see we have temperatures close to 94 degrees Fahrenheit with dew points in the 63 degrees Fahrenheit range. And if we look at this blue dotted line, if you guys can see that, and that is our capping inversion. That's kind of what we're hoping the storms can get through, which is at right around 800 feet up. Right here's the surface, and as that weather balloon goes up in the air, if there was a weather balloon, you're seeing this 94 degrees, and it's cooling off the higher it goes up in the atmosphere, and same with the dew points. We've got a CAPE value of 2,500 joules, which is fairly strong, not the strongest, but it is strong enough to get some severe thunderstorms going. Lower cloud levels of around 750 feet, so storms will likely be fairly high base today. We could see a little bit of a low precipitation supercell lowering if things play out properly. If not, then we're probably looking at more high-based storms today, possibly producing some stronger or larger hail, torrential downpours, and strong wind gusts. Our wind profile barbs aren't the greatest. See south winds here, and then they shift right around the 850 mark, and then they kind of flip over. We'd like to see it more go and then stay around 90 degrees for a while if we were looking for tornadic storms today. Our shear is only around 23 knots right now. We'd like to see closer to 50 or above, but yet again, we could still see some severe thunderstorms out of this today. If we take a look at significant tornado parameters, I'm not expecting them to be too strong. So right around 7 to 8 p.m. we have a little bit of significant tornado parameter in southwest Manitoba that looks to be right around Boissevain, maybe Melita area. See if we can pull a sounding from there, see if it looks a little better than the one we just saw. So yeah, we see a bit higher Cape, 3,300 joules, which is quite a bit better, but we also have a lot stronger cap in that area, which means storms will struggle a lot more going up. Basically what we'll probably see is storms trying to go up, and then they fall, and then they'll try to build again, and then they'll fall, until hopefully one of them can break through that cap. If it can break through that cap, we'll likely see very rapid storm development. It really depends if it has enough strength to get through that cap. The way I like to explain it is kind of like if you take a pop bottle, you can shake that pop bottle up as much as you want and nothing's going to happen until you break the seal on that cap. It's basically the same idea with the weather. Those storms are going to keep shaking, building up pressure, until something can get strong enough to break through that cap, and that's when it'll hopefully explode. We can see here we have potential hazard type of a weak tornado in the hazard type box. That's due to that higher significant tornado parameter. But if we look down here, we're not expecting any strong tornadoes, EF0 to EF1 at the highest. We do have some loose analog matches for severe hail, anywhere from 1 inch to 2.5 inch. So if storms can get going and get into that environment, they'd probably be not too bad to chase. So what we're looking at here is the outlook from the Prairie Antarctic Storm Prediction Center in Winnipeg, part of Environment Canada. This is their thunderstorm outlook. They put one of these out every day across the prairies, actually across the country. And what they're kind of showing is our same thoughts that we have, moderate potential for severe thunderstorms today, with wind gusts of 100 kilometers an hour, hail 2 to 4 centimeters, and it's more of an isolated, scattered threat area. If we look at their write-up for it, it says notable thunderstorm activity is expected to develop this afternoon over the eastern prairies. Very hot temperatures with highs in the mid-30s will combine with dew points climbing into the upper teens to produce an excess of ML Cape values of 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. So that's the same thing we were seeing on those weather soundings. Over eastern Saskatchewan and western Manitoba, convection will have two separate features to focus around. The first is the warm sector trough extending from the low over northern Manitoba southwards through western Manitoba, and the second will be the impinging cold front from the northwest. Additionally, a series of vorticity centers will be moving into the region and will provide upper support for thunderstorm development. Although there is ample energy for thunderstorms to work with, winds to organize it will be slightly lacking. 0 to 6 kilometer bulk shear values will only be in the 15 to 25 knot range through most of the instability axis, though they will increase into the 20 to 30 knot range near the international border tonight. The most likely outcome is a clustering of thunderstorms near the southern vorticity center and southwards along the surface trough shear axis and near the surface low cold front over northern Manitoba. The primary hazards from these thunderstorms will be damaging hail and/or wind gusts. A secondary threat from some of these thunderstorms may be torrential rainfall. particularly for any thunderstorms that develop along the northern flank of the shortwave or the cold front. These areas will have the potential for slow storm motion or training storms with PWatt values climbing over 40 millimeters. Isolated storm total rainfalls of 50 to 100 millimeters may be possible. The thunderstorms over the southern prairies will likely weaken heading into the overnight hours. However, nocturnal thunderstorms are possible across northern Manitoba right into Sunday morning. One more thing I'd like to look at is updraft helicity swaths, and basically what this is showing any storms that do go up, or any storms that the model is currently predicting going up, how strong their updrafts are going to be, because that's where you're going to get that strong hail and potential rotation in the storms. So we can see not a lot of updraft in that target area. There's a bit more down in North Dakota or up into more northern eastern Saskatchewan. But this is also only one model run, so it can definitely change quite a bit throughout the day. For example, if I take a look at one of the model runs from last night, we'll see how big of a difference there can be just between a few runs. So this is the HRRR run. It's the rapid refresh model, and we can see quite a different scenario playing out than what is currently showing. So this is kind of what we'd be expecting if something can break the cap today. Very strong thunderstorms more around the Mooseman to Verdon area, and tracking southeast into southwestern Manitoba. So that's kind of what we're hoping for today if something can break the cap. Right now the models aren't really predicting that something will, but they also can kind of struggle with predicting that. So it's kind of just a waiting game to see what can happen. But I think we're going to head a little bit further west here, and hopefully we can see something. We'll head out closer to the Saskatchewan border and kind of wait around and see what happens. So we've been waiting in Saskatchewan for a couple hours now under some nice sunny blue hot skies. We originally went to Mooseman, Saskatchewan, sat there for a few hours, kept looking at the models, and made the decision to come a little bit south. We're now sitting in Redvers, Saskatchewan. The latest model runs are showing in probably about an hour from now, which will be around 4 o'clock. We should start seeing some convective development along the front edge of the cold front as it moves towards the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. So we're just kind of sitting here playing the waiting game right now, hoping to see some development start happening. Right above me already, we're starting to see some cumulus clouds, which is a good sign. Hopefully those continue to form above us and to our west. And hopefully we can get a storm going in the next hour or two here. If one does get going, if the models are accurate, we should see a line of storms form from basically Carlisle, Saskatchewan down to the US border and kind of track northeastward. So we're just kind of waiting to see how that happens, enjoying the sunshine, getting a suntan, and yeah, hopefully we'll have some action in the next hour or two here. Unfortunately, nothing could really get breaking through that cap today. We had one storm or almost storm that looked like it was going to be really good. It looked like it was breaking through the cap. Unfortunately, I think the cap was just too strong today and it kind of choked it off. We sat in redverse for a couple hours hoping and watching the sky. We had towers go up and fall repeatedly. But it's just kind of one of those things that happens sometimes. We knew there was a strong cap in place and we knew there was a chance that storms wouldn't get going. And unfortunately, that's just how things played out today. Some storms did fire down in North Dakota and more central Manitoba, but those weren't really in a good environment for us to bother chasing in. So it's just one of those days that we get to go home empty-handed. Saw some blue skies, got a tan on, and yeah, hopefully the next one will be a little better for us. Other than that, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet night for the rest of the night, so I think we're just going to head home and call her a day now.